I will start by saying it's an honor to sit across from you today.
My pleasure.
Just a huge fan of your work, and you're just an incredible actor, so it's very, very nice to meet you, sir.
Well, thank you.
What is it about this story that drew you to this project, to this film?
I think perhaps the major thing that drew me to it was that I love the idea that during dangerous times, people can combine with compassion and courage and take the time to look out for one another and concentrate on that which unifies them rather than on that which divides them. And I think that's a timely thing any time, but particularly perhaps now. But also, it's just really good fun. It's romantic. It's very funny. I've got a great part. I get to play two parts. And it's one of those movies, you know, the deal was when you were a kid, you went into the cinema feeling one way and you came out feeling a whole lot better. That's the deal. And I think this, in that respect, this film delivers.
Is there a uniqueness to making a film about making a film?
Yeah, it was strange because you can't work out who's the real cameraman and who's the guy who's holding the fake camera, or who's the real sound person, or you know, it's kind of funky. But it was great, yeah. And we had a big tank, and you had to swim in the tank, and we had a big boat and all of that kind of stuff. And it was interesting to see how they used to make movies then. Obviously, the technology is different, but the process is pretty much the same.
I have to brag about something you do in this film.
Okay.
I had to rewind. I got a screener link, so I went back to watch your part where you sing. Will you go, Lassie, go?
Yeah.
You've got quite the singing voice, sir.
Well, thank you.
I had never heard you sing before.
Well, thank you very much. And it's a beautiful song. But if you want to hear it sung really beautifully, Van Morrison.
Okay.
Wild Mountain Time. Check it out. It's a great song.
But you did a really good job. I was like, is he singing? So I went back to it. I'm a former radio guy before I started covering film. And I was a music director, and I used to pick the songs that we played on the radio. I would have played your version on the radio.
Well, thank you.
That's how good it was.
Thank you, thank you. I believe there is an album. I believe there will be an album. So
can't wait to interview you about that. Is there a different mindset, though, that you take into consideration when you do a period piece?
I try not to take in a different mindset. When I get a period piece, I don't do too many period pieces, I don't think. But I always do the same thing on every period script. I write on the first page, this is not a period piece, because I don't want to get caught in any of those traps, because you are persuaded into a certain kind of speaking voice or a kind of way you stand. People have, you know, like everybody stood up straight in the 16th century. I don't think so. You know, like everybody spoke rather well in 1949. No, they didn't. And everybody, you know, in terms of what's happening in the film and the characters in the film, they don't think they're in a period piece. So I try not to myself.
I mentioned I'm a fan of your work, but I have to ask you this question. What is it about acting that you absolutely just love?
That's a really, really, really difficult question. When I started being an actor, what I really loved about acting was that it got me out of doing any other kind of job. That was really what I liked about acting. It was the only thing I liked about acting. What I do like about acting is that I get to work with great writers. That's the thing that I really love. And scripts that I admire. Also that delivering jokes and trying to get them bigger and better each time you do it, that is an endlessly fascinating activity and one to which I am addicted.